Breaking news on KSHP 41 News starts right now.
At 10 o'clock, we're following several top stories tonight, including a police shooting just hours ago in Kansas City, Kansas. School, as you and I know, it is 5 days a week. But the independent school district is considering getting rid of one of those days and looking at a 4-day school week. No children were on this school bus, only the bus driver, and he appears to be okay as well. But I want you to take a look at where this tree hit the bus. Those lines right now cut Wyandotte County in half. I want you to check this out. 2 years ago, it was a different story. All of Wyandotte County within the same district lines.
80s to 30s today.
30s.
It was 30s this afternoon. And it's a continuation of the ride. We have been on this ride for a long time.
For a while now.
And it was free. It was a free ride.
I'm going to get off. Yeah, me too. We caught up with Governor Laura Kelly in KCK. Has it bothered you that there hasn't been more transparency in this entire process? When you talk about drought conditions, you really have to consider geography. Here in Northeast Kansas, conditions improve as you go east and get worse as you go west. Is there a chance marijuana could be legalized at the federal level anytime soon? The 41I team is getting unique access at what it takes to drive an ambulance and why it's important. A new twist today in the investigation of classified documents found in President Biden's home and private office. Today, Shelter KC delivered 500 single-serving turkey dinners to people in need.
Here, we made Bryant go outside in the cold so that he could really capture what it's like to work in the cold. Bryant.
You know, I just noticed that you guys continue to talk about how cold it is while I'm standing out here, just going on and on and on and on.
There's a lot of things. They're just piled up. Sorry.
The housing market is made up of buyers and sellers. Ara Staub is a buyer.
It's been quite an adventure. Honestly, a lot of unknowns since it's also my first home that I'm buying. Scary and exciting all at the same time.
We'll get into why it's scary and exciting in a moment. But first, why is Ara looking for a house? The answer? Her family.
That's our dream. I mean, it's just like my kids to have their backyard, their own room, like having all those fun family memories that I grew up with.
Ara's looking for a house in the middle of a housing market that on the surface doesn't look too hot. Right now, interest rates are going up. Meanwhile, housing sales have gone down. So for context, we turn to experts on the housing market, a realtor and a lender.
Things are changing and things are shifting. But what we're feeling is more of a rebalance. We're not seeing values on homes plummet by any means. They're staying pretty steady and actually still increasing a little bit.
Realtor Alex Owen says it's still a seller's market. She sold this house in Olathe. But if you're a buyer, Shelby Bartelt says work with a local mortgage lender.
Some of the questions that I ask prospective clients is really what is their ideal monthly payment? What is that cash to close amount that they're comfortable with? And from there, it's really my job to structure, get creative, and share strategies that they are excited to buy a home and win in this market.
Ara is one of those winners. She found a home and is finishing up final details before moving in this fall. In Kansas City, I'm Bryant Maddrick, KSHP 41 News. Looking at the departure and arrivals board, things appear normal, but this morning it was a different story with delays that stretch well into the afternoon. The Bell family is ready to get away.
We're trying to catch a cruise down in Miami, Disney cruise. So if we don't get there by 12:30, between 12:30 and 3 o'clock tomorrow, we can't go.
Their flight should have been wheels up by 2 this afternoon. Instead, their feet are up in the airport lobby with a delay that just drags on.
Right now, it's about 3 hours. Yeah, and it just kind of keeps pushing back.
The Bells are just one of many travelers impacted by an issue that left people checking their phones for flight updates this morning. The FAA blames a computer system called Notice to Air Mission Systems, or NOTAM.
It's what could be considered mundane information, but it really isn't. It's data on the infrastructure in which you're flying.
Retired airline pilot Dick Iser says the system is important for safety.
Let's just say you're going from point A to point B, and your destination point B, there is perhaps an airport maintenance vehicle. There's a flat tire on the runway and closes the runway. We'd like to know that.
Back inside the airport, the Bells just want to know when their flight to see Mickey and Minnie will take off.
The lady I talked to is pretty confident, even if we left at 1 a.m., that the flight was gonna leave, that it wouldn't get canceled. So I'm hoping she's right.
Well, there may be some good news. I was checking the departures for Miami. A flight left at 5 o'clock. So hopefully they're on that flight, because the alternative would have been to drive to Miami. That's a 21-hour trip.
41 News starts now.
Hear their story and give them encouragement and get them motivated to move on to the next step.
The next step after deadly severe storms in California. The local effort to help families get back on their feet. Plus, we may have you wanting a midnight snack. Restaurant Week officially underway. The big impact for local restaurants and their advice to you before you snag a seat at the table. And before you go to bed tonight, some of you may have some plans tomorrow to take advantage of Restaurant Week. So let's bring in meteorologist Wes Perry. Wes, what's the word?
Weather's not too bad.
Developing tonight, we're learning more about a deadly highway shooting that happened during yesterday morning's rush hour. Happened along I-435 and K-10. Tonight, KSHB 41's Grant Stevens has the latest on the police investigation.
Lenexa Police.
A recent report found that road rage shootings are on the rise, hitting its worst year on record in 2021. That's according to Everytown Research and Policy. More than 500 people were hurt or killed in over 700 incidents that year. Once again, if you saw anything along I-435 near K-10 just before 6 yesterday morning, including any possible road rage behaviors with a white Jeep Grand Cherokee and another vehicle, call the TIPS hotline. Tonight, a Kansas City woman is back home after a chunk of asphalt crashed through her windshield, sending her to the ICU. Eva Carney shared these pictures with us today. You can see damage to the driver's side windshield. Carney was struck in the head.
When it first happened, I thought that I had been shot in the head.
Well, Carney believes it was a senseless act of violence by a stranger. Now she wants the person responsible to come forward.
I'm not sure why you did this.
KCPD was not able to share additional details of their investigation, but Carney told us that authorities are hoping for camera footage or DNA analysis from the piece of asphalt. Deputies in Ray County are asking for any information on the murder of a woman whose remains were discovered last spring. Today, they identified the victim as Colette Noel Green. She also went by Nicole Joanne Case. The sheriff's office says that a mushroom hunter found her remains in a wooded area of Ray County, Missouri last April. If you know anything, call the Ray County Sheriff. The sheriff plans to release more information on Monday, and we'll be sure to keep you updated. Tonight, California is bracing for another round of severe storms. Flooding and mudslides have already taken the lives of 19 people and have left entire communities still picking up the pieces. And that's where volunteers from across the country have stepped in to help, including right here in the metro. We spoke with the Red Cross and a volunteer on the ground in some of the hardest hit areas.
We had several houses damaged.
Houses damaged with thick mud and lots of water.
Water was up probably 1.5 feet to 2 feet into the living room, floors, and everything else.
That's Red Cross volunteer Merrick Markinson, the retiree from Blue Springs is in Northern California, helping victims of the relentless storms. When he shows up, the first thing he does is listen.
Hear their story and give them encouragement and get them motivated to move on to the next step.
For the Red Cross, the next step includes providing shelter, food, and information.
Helping to meet those basic immediate needs is the first and primary point of focus right now.
That's Joanne Woody, Executive Director of the American Red Cross at Greater Kansas City, Northwest Missouri. She says volunteers have a front row seat to the destruction and the anxiety storm victims face.
For those that are being evacuated or asked to leave for potential safety reasons, there's a lot of the unknown. And so our teams are right there beside them, helping them work through that.
Now, if you would like to donate or sign up to volunteer, you can head to the Red Cross of Greater Kansas City's website, which is on your screen. Well, it's going to be a busy week for restaurants, so make your reservations and ditch the meal prep this week. Tonight is the start of Kansas City's Restaurant Week, and more than 200 restaurants are taking part, including those at Strang Hall and Overland Park. You can see there were plenty of full tables and a variety of food from pizza and pretzel bites to fried rice and curry. People at Strang Hall say that that's what makes the place so great.
It's almost like having 5 different restaurants in one.
And this week can also be a big boost for local restaurants' bottom lines. KSHB 41 News anchor Lindsay Shively got a behind-the-scenes look at how Fanny's West African cuisine is getting ready for the rush of hungry customers. Now, you're not just helping local restaurants. 10% of your bill will also go to 3 local charities. This year's event benefits Visit KC, the Greater Kansas City Restaurant Association Educational Foundation, and Cornerstones of Care. That last organization works with trauma recovery and job training, including a culinary program.
Some want to go.
So if you're wanting to help the local groups and restaurants, and maybe you're a little hungry now after seeing all of that food, go online and scroll through all of these participating restaurants. Many of them also have their menus posted as well. Restaurant Week runs through January 22nd, and you'll find multi-course menus at 3 different price tiers: $20, $40, and $50. There are also some restaurants offering carry-out and delivery for people who want to celebrate Restaurant Week at home. We have all of this information on our website, kshb.com.